Okay, so this video is going to be short. I'm just wanted to update you on my first thoughts. There's a few things. I'll start out the gate with the power. You do have to use the power adapter to run this thing. It does not run straight from USB to USB-C, however you want to term it. You cannot do that. The only thing the USB does from back here is allow you to use the MIDI. And on the MIDI, the only thing you're using is the keys and the keyboard bend and wheel, right? Pitch bend, modulation wheel. So that's pretty much all you get as far as the keyboard being a MIDI controller, which I don't like because it's limited. All these buttons and that's all you can do. So you're pretty much, this is a straight synth with the ability to use as a MIDI controller. I didn't know it. It's part of it. You live and you learn, right? So you can't power it here. You do have to plug it in. It would be nice if they would at least allow you to power it. If you're only going to be using 2 features from it as a MIDI controller, it would be nice to power it. But the good part of it is you could plug in, like I have, 2/4 inch in the back. Hopefully you guys see my hands, and then run it to your interface or your mixer. So you have both the audio and you have the ability to use it as a, you have the ability to use the audio and use the ability to record in MIDI. Now, if you also have this plug-in, which is a MIDI out and in theory, you don't need to plug this cable in. You could just open up, your Bluetooth MIDI and Bluetooth it into it and be just fine. And it would save you the headache of having to plug in extra something to your computer. Give you one more slot on your computer. But for most people, they're going to have the cable. And by the way, the cable does not come with it. There is another cable. This cable at least doesn't come with it. There is a cable that comes with it, but it's USB, the fat one, that goes to a USB-A, which is the old, like a 2.0 or something. No way in the world I'm using that. So I have a USB-C on mine, but that's just because the MacBook already has that. I don't feel like using a converter to try to do all that. That's a little bit much. At that point, I would definitely be just using the Bluetooth. Anyway, that's my spiel on the power thing. You do need it to be able to run it, okay? Kind of a bummer, but understandable. I mean, the keyboard is not just a MIDI controller. It really is a synthesizer with the ability to use it as MIDI. Key strips, wonderful. They're great. Love the fact that you have not only the macros that you can use to assign, but you also have this step, ARP, gate, spice button that allows you to do some interesting things with your sound when you're recording, especially if you're trying to perform with this. I think that's really neat. The filters are phenomenal. They're analog filters. So, I mean, I'm definitely not going to complain about that. So your low pass filter by band pass and your high pass all work lovely. On the effects, you can have 3 effects going at one time. You cycle through them this way. It's pretty simple. I'll just show you real quick. There's a chorus, phaser, flanger, distortion, bit crusher, 3-band EQ, peak EQ, and a multi-compressor. And I believe that's it. All right. To go through your sounds, you just move here, but it doesn't preview a sound. So that's kind of a bummer because it would be nice to hear a sound. Like, what does that sound, sound like? And then if you like the sound, you click in. But what they do is they only let you, as far as I'm know, you're only able to, right? You still see how, and then you have to press in to get that sound. And it's not that pressing in is, it's not that pressing in is hard to do. It's just, it would be nice to hear a preview of the sound and you just can't. So that's what you have. Of course, you have the envelope and you have mono, poly. I don't know what para is or means. I do know what unison is, that mode. And these are different modes that you have on the envelopes that you can use. And you have this cycling envelope. So there's an envelope that says run and loop. And to be honest, I don't fully understand that one either. It's stuff I don't think about as much and probably don't use that much of, but it's not to say you wouldn't. There's two oscillators. This is the button to change those. You have a volume for each oscillator too, and a tune button, which is kind of cool because you can tune it different semitones and etc. and octaves and whatever. If you want to do semitones, you just turn it. I think, and if you want to do octaves, you hold down shift and turn it, and it changes octaves. If you see blue on something, then it's always going to be the shift button to do it. Otherwise, it's just the button itself that does it. They have a glide. I don't fully know why I would use this. Maybe for a bass. It's okay. It's not nothing that I would probably necessarily put to use, but hey, everybody's different, whatever you choose. You can put the rates of the LFO or, have it trigger. I'm not sure what wave and load means. If I'm blatantly, okay, wave, just the wave that you have. What does load mean? Let's see. I don't know. I would have to look that up. I don't fully understand that. There's two LFOs on there that you can use. And then you have the matrix that does that. There is a chord and scales feature in here that allows you to press in the notes to get the chord. I think you hit shift. No, you hit chord on, right? And then pick your chord. So let's say, right? And then turn it off and then, no. So I think it memorizes, you hold it down and then do it? Or is it hold down shift scale here? Anyway, turn it off. Be honest, I probably will not use the chord mode in here. I rarely will. More than likely, if you see me using chords, it will be through the Bluetooth in. If I want to use like tonality on the phone and just have it Bluetooth right into here and play the chords, and then I play the melody over, or I might use scalar, and that would probably be what I would use. I mean, I'm not going to do too much. I don't really think that I would be doing much production in here. This is more just like a sound engine, I think. And I like some of the features in it. I like the fact that you can run audio through it. At some point, I will try to do that, but I will have to do it off camera because I'll probably have to use my phone to run audio through and see what that does. I don't know what it's going to do, but I mean, I think it allows you to use the filters with your audio, which is kind of neat if you're trying to do performance stuff. I think that might be kind of fun. For me, I'm not really into performance like that. I'm more into recording music, and that is my thing. So let's see, what else can we talk about? Okay, so the problem with the metronome, did I talk about that already? No, because I've done this video like 3 times by the time you're seeing it, so I had to start it over. All right, so the issue with the metronome was the sequencer. It does not turn off. See how the metronome is going? So, and I'm just playing it. So in the settings, the only setting that you have is audio. Oh, sorry, not audio. Go back, sync. And under sync, it's on or it's off. They don't have a setting, which they really should just change that. It should just be, you should be on for record or on for overdub or on all the time, right? Should be on all, on overdub, or on record, or just on all and on record. That's all you really need. As long as the record button's active, then the metronome should be on. But to put it on while you're playing, while it's just playing, is kind of crazy because it nobody wants to hear that. Like while you're playing, just playing around. So anyway, that's one of the things that needs to be fixed. And I believe they know because I'm not the first one to say it. Somebody else said it and I just happened to see it. I actually used it and couldn't figure out why it wouldn't go off. And then I realized that that was the issue. So it's really nice, the sounds. The sounds just, the quality of the build is great. The sounds, it's not super big. I thought it was going to be bigger than this. It's actually pretty small. I like that it's small. I really like that about it. I'm just trying to understand why it's not, with all that it can do, why it doesn't work better as a MIDI controller. It's just not there for me. Like, that's me playing on a Spitfire audio piano. So yes, you can play it and use it, but all you get is pretty much the keys at that point and the bend and the wheel. So that's all you have. So it's not the best when it comes to that. You're going to have to make sure it's always powered. And I don't know any other ways to power it. I tried to power it. I thought it would power just by that, but it's not, as I've said before. So when you see this video, you'll know that's one of the things I probably dislike the most about it. So other than that, the sound from it is incredible. And I'm still deciding whether it's like a keeper for me. I have to know that I'm going to use it more than just a MIDI controller. Because if it's just a MIDI controller I'm going to use and I'm not going to touch anything else and I'm not going to use the sounds in it as much, then it's probably best just to get like a MPK Mini Plus or just a basic Arturia, if I go Arturia, a basic Arturia key step, which is fine, but I just really love the sequencer, and some of the sounds in it are phenomenal. So again, I got to figure that out, what I'm going to do. And I'll know within a few days of messing with it if I like it or not. So that's kind of where I'm at. Oh, I just noticed this too, like to move the pages, because you can have different 3 pages, I think, of assignable matrix stuff going on. So you hit shift, and then I don't know if you do that. I haven't fully got it. I see it's shift. So I don't know if it's shift, octaves, no. And my Bluetooth just cut off, so if the sound's a little weird, I apologize in advance. Hopefully you can still hear me though. I'm going to switch my Bluetooth and it should be fine. You should hear the sound kick back on. So if the sound cut off, it was just a Bluetooth issue. Hopefully it'll catch back on in just a second and you'll hear me a little bit clearer. But anyway, I'm still not 100% sure how to move the page. So I thought it was shift. A shift assign 1. So yeah, I'm not sure on that page thing what to do there. Yeah. Okay. But anyway. Yeah, trying to figure this out. So for me right now, it's still up in the air whether it's a keeper. I'm going to do a few more things off camera to see if I like it enough to want to keep it. I'm going to listen to some other videos myself to see, and I suggest you do the same if you're interested in this. I suggest you look at other videos and see other ways people are using it and if it fits for your needs and your desires to use this. Otherwise, it's a great keyboard, build quality. Arturia don't make too many things that I find that's bad too. They always make good stuff and I respect them for that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and my take on it. And I'm sure there'll be more videos I'll do of other stuff as I find things that I'm interested in. I'll share them with you and hopefully it'll be things that you're interested in too. And you can get a little more info. I'll do my best to answer whatever questions, but I'm not the most knowledgeable on everything. I'm just giving you my personal take on it. There's some people out there that are more deep divers into these keyboards. I wanted to see if it would work for my workflow, and it may. I just can't really decide in less than a day. So it's going to take a few days to try this out. All right. That's the end of this video. Hopefully in 15 minutes, I kind of gave you a little bit of an idea of what it can do. It's definitely not the best, in my opinion, for MIDI. It's just okay. It is great as a synth. And if you need a synth or want a synth like this, then it's going to be really good. You'll enjoy it. You'll get a lot more out of it if you buy it as a synth. If you do hardware and you are like to sample and you have an SP, or if you have even the TE 133, or if you got what's the other ones out there, MPC, and you want a synth on the side, to me this one or the ASM Hydrosynth are the most affordable synths that I like. They're both under, I think they're both under 700 new. You could probably get them used or on sale at some point, but they're both under that, and they both do quality sounds and sound really good. So, and if you can find some, if you're not a sound designer and you don't like tweaking stuff, this board probably won't be for you, as will not the ASM Hydrosynth. They're really for people that like tweaking knobs and making new sounds or adjusting stuff. If that's not your bag, I would say stay away from this keyboard, just because otherwise you're going to find yourself buying a bunch of presets and spending even more money on it, and you are not going to be fulfilled because you're going to constantly be trying to figure out when you're going to get some more presets, right? You're going to be chasing presets. Getting a preset done on this one is easier than the Hydrosynth. However, the Hydrosynth it has a random button. And if you like that random sounds and random generated stuff, the Hydrosynth has better stuff for that. This one's better at performing, in my opinion. This is more of a performance board, whereas the Hydrosynth is more of like a deep dive on creating type board where you're going to do tweak. All right, but both of them can be tweaking, and you can do the performance with the sequencer, and they both have features that are good. They're both about the same size. The Hydrosynth might be a little bit bigger, and but they both have touch strips. And like I said, this one, I just like the sounds in it better than the Hydrosynth, in my opinion. But with the right hands and the right knowledge, someone can make the Hydrosynth sound really good. And there's so many millions of sounds you can come up with in the Hydrosynth. So anyway, that's all I got for you. This is my little take on it. I'm not all knowledgeable of it, but I do know what I know and what I like. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will try to do another video on it soon, as I try to narrow down what small keyboard I'm going to use. The ones I'm looking at, I think I told you already, I was looking at this one. I was looking at the Arturia Keystep again. I've had the Keystep before. The thing about the Keystep is it's fun to play on, but imagine if you just didn't have any of the rest of this and you just had a basic keyboard, the way I'm showing with the MIDI. That's what the Keystep for me was. You could do sequence, you could do chords, but I rarely did any of that. I rarely used the features on it. And I couldn't, and likewise, I could not get Ableton. I couldn't get the transport bar to work on it. The same thing here. I can't get this one to do it. So that's kind of a bummer. So I'm leaning towards the MPK Mini Plus, which now has a transport bar. The pads work on it. And I know you can use it in Ableton because they have a setting for it. That's where I'm leaning, just because of what I personally want. And the power issues. I really don't like having to power this with a brick. It kind of annoys me a little bit. So anyway, that's all I got. Just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully it helps you in making your decision. Some stuff you might be okay with, some stuff you might not. So do your research on that for sure. All right, I'm out.